This is your weekly celestial forecast for the week beginning September 4th, 2023. So on Monday the 4th, we have the moon in Taurus, financially stable, stubborn Taurus with retrograde Jupiter in Taurus. And what is Taurus? Taurus, the second house. It's connected with our values. It is connected with our money, our finances, and to some degree, the second house is connected with our speech, what we say, how we say it. Also, the second house is connected with food and culinary interests. So, on Monday, September 4th, these are what's going to be our focus. And when you have the moon, which is connected with our moods, our feelings, also it is connected with the collective, the public eye, the masses. On Monday, this connection with Jupiter is one where our interest exponentially are going to be connected with banking, money, corporations of all types. And because it is Taurus, it is very grounded and it is very sensible. So our feet are going to be firmly on the ground Monday. And anything and everything connected with money, saving for a rainy day, and there could be discussions regarding culinary foods. And we will have to be careful, especially on Monday, about what we say and how we say it, because we have the moon conjunct Jupiter, and Jupiter loves to make a big deal out of everything. And because Jupiter is retrograde, and keep in mind, a retrograde planet is not always at its best. So right now, we will have to be a little extra careful in what we say and how we say it, because whatever we say could be taken out of context. And with Jupiter and the moon, if that is the case, this will really create a bit of a scene and create a little bit of combativeness, because we've got the moon squaring off now a direct Venus in Leo. So our affections and our intentions could get a little bit mixed up on Monday as to what we mean, what we say, and that may create a little bit of tension, or the conflict could get a little bit blown out of proportion with Jupiter on the scene on Monday. But nonetheless, this is very positive generally, because what else? Jupiter is about generosity and giving, kind of like with Venus. Jupiter appreciates the creature comforts, especially in the sign of Taurus, and that which deals with anything with money. And Venus is like that, and it's in the very generous, warm-hearted sign of Leo. And Leo likes the show. So also on Monday, we want to show off a little bit. And with that Taurus connection, maybe we want to show off or exaggerates our talents or our, well, believe it or not, our money, our career, and we may go a little bit over the top about it, and so that might be a little bit annoying. Nonetheless, the moon with Jupiter is also very positive for business or job news. But yes, connections with banking or that which deals with restaurants, perhaps, uh, or anything with food, money, etc. Second house connections will be the hit on Monday. Yes, indeed, very popular. And the following day, then the moon will come to conjoin unexpected Uranus. And we also have Mars still in its detriment in the sign of Libra. And Libra, Mars is not at its best because keep in mind, Mars is the rulership of both Aries and Scorpio. So with Mars in Libra, it's all about getting along, creating harmony, balance, and the focus will be on relationships of all kinds. And this can also include the other seventh house interest, which is legal issues. So, legalities, contracts, keeping the harmony with each other, and all of this with balance, cooperation, and with Mars in Libra, it's a very social placement. And because it is in our detriment, we will have this need to really relate to each other. It kind of creates a little bit of some insecurity within us where we have to kind of reach out to others and kind of get others' opinions and input. And we really want to connect with each other. So, although Mars is not at its best, it also is a more easygoing, let's get along with each other kind of connection. And so that's rather positive. And we also have the South Node and now the North Node in Aries, Libra, respectively. So that only puts relationships into focus much more with this first seventh house Aries Libra axis about relationships and creating the balance between me first, taking the initiative, and working with others in cooperation. Yes. And now the North Node is just past Chiron, the healer, but yet making about roughly a 6 degrees conjunction yet on Monday. So there's this need to kind of go back to the past, perhaps, or work on certain hurts or sensitivities on Monday that may have been rather important in our life on Monday. It's a very kind of a bit of a touchy connection there, but Chiron is the healer with the North Node, and that's very sensitive. So we are going to be very sensitive on Monday to our hurts, our feelings, perhaps past connections may come up. So be very mindful of that and don't be overly sensitive or touchy because of this connection on Monday. Sensitive, maybe melancholy, and remember Chiron and with the North Node in Aries is all about healing. And we have Neptune yet in Pisces retrograde, so there could still be issues with storm, water, liquid, minerals, and of course that other interest of Neptune, which is about secrets and mysteries, the behind the scenes information that is still hidden that we will have to figure out during this retrograde phase of Neptune, but it also is connected with the atmosphere and moisture. So there's going to be continued concerns with overabundance of water, lack of abundance of water, liquid oil, and the like. And that does connect up indirectly in a way with Saturn, even retrograde, because Saturn's depositor is Neptune, and Saturn also retrograde now kind of gives us this feeling of duty and restriction, and where you have these placements in your chart will be of utmost importance now. And Pluto, the powerhouse, is in Capricorn, yet still retrograde. So there's going to be issues with the powers that be, and that could even be our own power or our own sense of authority may be challenged because of this retrograde position, and we may find that those that are in positions of authority may kind of overstep their bounds because of this connection with Pluto retrograde. However, that is making a bit of a wide trine with Uranus, and Uranus is about our originality, our creativity, our sense of rebellion. So we may, especially right now with both Uranus and Pluto, feel a little bit rebellious, but in a positive direction. Maybe we are fighting for a cause, and that can't be too bad. Uh, no, it cannot. And we also have here Mercury elevated in Virgo retrograde, and we've got the sun in Virgo, and with Mercury and a bit of the sun as well, making a wide trine to both the moon and Jupiter in Taurus. And this is very grounding indeed, very earthy. So on Monday, it's about what? It's about hard work and really kind of trying to produce more financial returns, kind of keeping an eye on our financial and monetary goals on Monday. And that's pretty much what Monday is going to be connected with. As stated earlier, anything that's connected with our values, what we treasure, saving for a rainy day, investments, the stock market, you name it. That's about Monday. And we could, as stated earlier, get some really good money news on Monday. And at the very least, with this moon and Jupiter connection trying the sun and Mercury, we are feeling awfully generous. Or we may be the subject of someone else's generosity. And that's also very positive. So let's look forward to the next day, which is the 5th of September, and we now have Uranus with the moon. And what is Taurus? Taurus is connected with our Earth, and it is an extremely Earth sign, and that's also making a trine with powerhouse Pluto. So kind of like the day before, on Monday, we are feeling very grounded and very goal oriented. We are focused on our sense of authority with this wonderful trine on Tuesday. It's a day we want to take charge and we want to work hard also on Tuesday because of this grounded earthy connection. But we're going to have to watch out for rather large earth changes, and that could be connected with earthquakes, volcanoes, yes, atmospheric changes, you name it, because of Neptune retrograde and additionally Uranus retrograde, and with the moon in earth bound Taurus. So look out for that on Tuesday. But Monday and Tuesday, the theme is really about our monetary values and our future, and that is positive. So let's look ahead for another day. And we are now finally coming into Wednesday, and the moon really changes up the vibe here, really changes the game on Wednesday, because now we are in the very chatty sign of Gemini. So we went from Monday and Tuesday feeling rather, well, focused on our work, focused on our money future, our finances, and feeling rather grounded. We want to just stick to our goals and our objectives, maybe feeling a little bit stubborn. And now on Wednesday, we've got the moon in very light-hearted Gemini. Oh, yes, we are feeling rather restless. We want to be on the go on Wednesday. We want to communicate. So that means we may want to communicate with others, or we may find on Wednesday that we are the receptor of much communication to us. But nonetheless, we will have to be very leery of a fuzzy thinking, because now the moon is squaring off retrograde Mercury in Virgo and the sun exactly conjunct at 13 degrees and making about a 3 degrees square off with the moon. So we'll have to be careful on Wednesday regarding anxiety, nervousness, kind of a little bit of some touchiness here too, or feeling a little bit edgy on Wednesday. So with this mercurial connection with the sun and Mercury scoring off the moon, we will have a accentuated need to be on the go, or to communicate, to research anything and everything that has to do with communication. But in the interim, we will have to be cautious here too of what we have to say, because of this sense of touchiness or edginess. On Wednesday, it's about really just being cautious of what we say, how we say it, kind of like also on Monday with that connection with Jupiter and the moon. But now with the moon, it's that we feel, well, maybe a little bit insecure on Wednesday. So this is great if we want to really broadcast our feelings. It's just being cautious of how those feelings could affect other people regarding what we say and how we feel. It's kind of just a little bit of a jaded connection here on Wednesday. So be cautious of all communications, whether it's social media, whether it's in person, whether it's the written word, spoken word, you name it. However, there is a sweet sextile between Venus, the planet of love and affection, and the moon. So at least, even if we're a little bit unclear in our thinking and communication, at least with the desire to express our love and our emotions with those nearest and dearest may have some good results because of this sextile, fire and air connection between the moon and Venus. So that kind of puts a nice positive touch uh, on Wednesday because of this square off with the Sun and Mercury. So it is a good day to really open up and relate to your loved ones and communicate what you have in common and be very warm hearted and expressive for love and affection. So that's very positive. And so, yes, if we can be mindful of what we say, how we say it, well, then this is a good connection with the love department. Yes, okay. And so we're going to look ahead. Now, one other thing, we do have a little bit Wednesday morning early. We have a little bit of a square off here with Saturn, the planet of duty and responsibility, which is retrograde, and that squares off the moon here and a little bit of a really, really, really wide T square early Wednesday, very early Wednesday morning. So that kind of accentuates that uncertain feeling of getting going in the morning hours and really expressing ourselves effectively. Kind of a little bit of some fuzzy thinking on Wednesday. So early in the morning, do be cautious, as aforementioned, about all forms and modes of expression because there could be conflicts because our intentions may be read incorrectly, and that's what could create conflict. So let's look ahead to the next day, which now is Thursday, and the moon is, of course, further along in the sign of Gemini, and that squares off retrograde Neptune, and this continues the theme on Thursday with a little bit of that fuzzy thinking and communication. Now, so this doesn't necessarily denote or mean that there could be any kind of conflicts, but on Thursday, we may feel like maybe there's information we have to discover, we have to research, or we may be a little uncertain or shaky in our own self confidence and our own thinking, or it could be communications with others could be delayed, or there could be information that we don't have the answers right now totally. And so on Thursday, we're going to have to watch out for this. So if you've got important contracts or important communications, negotiations that you have on Thursday, you might want to delay that for another day because of this square off between very communicative Gemini and the very dreamy, nebulous Neptune. Yes, indeed. And uh, we don't have exactly on Thursday a square off with Mercury and the Sun and Mercury retrograde, but still there, and it is not a major aspect, but still there is this connection with Mercury and Gemini. So, yes, Thursday is not the day for serious negotiations, and hold off until a better, more clarified, solid day. And let's look ahead to officially the weekend on Friday, September 8th. And the moon is very homey, Cancer, yes, at 5 degrees. And oh, that makes a sweet trine to very dutiful Saturn. Barely there, retrograde at 2 degrees of Pisces. So we are feeling rather sentimental, a little bit emotional, maybe a bit overly emotional to some degree because Saturn is retrograde. And although this makes a very sweet connection with the sensitive, nurturing moon in Cancer, well, keep in mind Saturn is retrograde, so we may feel yet a little bit blocked. We really want to express our sensitivities, and it is a good time for that. But at the same time, because Saturn is retrograde, we are really focused on duty, responsibility. But with this trine, with this homey moon in Cancer, this is a good time for renovations, uh, anything to do with home and family and those communications and duty. Keep in mind with this trine, we may feel a bit blocked, but at the same time, we have a good, sound, strong sense of duty to family, to our loved ones, and well, that can't be bad either. And with the moon in Cancer, it is applying the following day a sextile earth and water to both retrograde Mercury and the sun in Virgo. So we're starting to feel really good. So where it was a little bit topsy turvy in our communications or a little fuzzy thinking, communicating earlier in the week, well, at the start of the weekend, we are feeling like we have a little bit more clarity in our communications now, even with this retrograde Virgo Mercury here. We really want to say what's on our mind. And guess what? On Friday, we may have a much better reception. Yes. And there may be, we can't ignore this retrograde Mercury, maybe connections or discussions with the past. And who knows, maybe earlier in the week, that's what kind of brought up some of this uncertainty in our expression and communications because of communications that may be a little bit uncertain or questionable from the past with this retrograde Mercury and very picky Virgo. But now on Friday, we are developing a little bit more confidence. We kind of want to reach out to each other and express ourselves now effectively. And that is indeed very positive. And also, the moon is also applying the following day on Saturday the sextile earth and water to Jupiter, and then the following day to Uranus. So, indeed, let's look ahead to the next day, which is Saturday. And the moon is now at 17 degrees of Cancer and making a closer sextile both with, well, closer to the sun, not so much. It's just past the sextile to Mercury. So great communications for Saturday and with the sun, or Friday, and then with the sun at 16 degrees on Saturday. What is the sun? The sun is about our image. It's about our self-confidence, who we are. And with this wonderful sextile between the moon in Cancer and the sun in Virgo. Well, first on Friday, it was about communicating much more effectively than it had been earlier in the week. And on Saturday, now we're just feeling good. We've got this homey connection, nurturing connection with the moon in Cancer and the sun in Virgo. So we are feeling good about ourselves. We feel like our energy has returned on Saturday. And of course, with Virgo, that's the sign of work and perfectionism. It's the sign of research and service and the sixth house. So there could be all kinds of good news connected with not just home and family, maybe even some renovations and all of that. But it's about a very grounded focus on sixth house matters. Maybe this is the time we want to get some good reading in and some research. We're working hard. We are very organizational. Maybe we're focused on diet and exercise. But this is a very positive influence for Saturday. Yes. And because of the sextile to Jupiter, kind of like earlier in the week with the moon and Jupiter on Saturday, we're feeling rather generous. And on Saturday, it's just a feel good day with these connections. However, there is an applying sextile also with unique, unexpected Uranus. But there's also this applying opposition the following day on Sunday between the moon and powerhouse Pluto. Also an applying trine off with Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So this is very sentimental. Let's look ahead to the final day, which is Sunday. Yes, indeed. And now the moon is buoyed in the latter degrees of Cancer, and it is now making an opposition with Pluto. And so, with that, oppositions are good on one hand because it's about balancing out the attributes of each of the planets in their signs. But on the other hand, it can create a little bit, well, of opposition of the signs that are involved. So in this case, it's Cancer versus Capricorn. So the balance will have to be between our sense of sensitivity, nurturing, possibly home and family, and that sense of duty because Pluto is in Capricorn, and this sense of our own sense of authority and possibly even getting along with authority. So this can be very helpful where those in positions of power can help us, or we are in a position of power where we can help others. But this can also be a little bit uncertain as to where those that are in positions of power can somewhat overstep their authority. And this could create some issues, especially because the moon is in very sensitive, nurturing moon. So the key here is to balance out the sense of power with our sensitivities and really working together to make whatever tick, projects, business plans, whatever goals that we have in mind to balance out the Cancer Capricorn axis. Because when this is not in balance, as in this case, we could feel a little bit overly sensitive or touchy. There could be conflicts within home or family, especially with Pluto, this sense of authority and power against the very emotional moon in Cancer. So balance out being very thoughtful and considerate towards other and not overstepping your sense of power. However, there is a sweet trine now between retrograde nebulous Neptune and the moon in sensitive Cancer. So that's good. It's very emotional, especially with the moon in its latter degrees of Cancer and Neptune retrograde. So, as aforementioned, Neptune is connected with moisture, it is connected with the oceans, sea life, which may also be an issue right now, the behind the scenes mysteries, what is going on and what is the truth, which are questions that we are going to want answered now. But with retrograde Neptune, this could also really get our emotions going. We may feel a little over the top emotionally or with our sensitivities. And with this trine with the moon in Cancer, well, on Sunday we are feeling rather sentimental or emotionally. So this either is like a double-edged sword. We can either get lost in sentiment or emotion, maybe this very thought of romanticism and kind of seeing each other through rose-colored glasses, or the other side of Cancer and Pisces is very sentimental in a positive direction, very sensitive to others' needs, very charitable, and it's a very spiritual connection as well. So we either can get lost in emotion or we can channel our emotions into charity and kindness and thoughtfulness to others. It's also a very good day if you're interested in the metaphysical or paranormal with this connection with the moon and retrograde Neptune, kind of bringing out a little bit of those 12th house matters about mysteries and the unknown and whatever it is we need to figure out that is unseen, so to speak. Now, so uh, we also have, yes, we cannot ignore throughout this week. And for quite some time, we've got this sextile between retrograde Neptune and retrograde Pluto. So, although they are not at their best because they are retrograde, with Neptune and Pluto, this really gives us some intelligence about our sense of power and how to express ourselves creatively and effectively. But it's also very intelligent and really grounding as far as getting work done and really expressing our sense of sensitivity, but not getting over the top as with drama and the like. And the moon the following day, then on Monday, will then move to Leo, and that will begin the next week. And so, with that, and also, yes, we've got the moon in Cancer and applying the conjunction with Leo. So, next week, we'll start off as one filled with energy and positivity and very creative. But to end this week, to summarize, it's a little bit of fuzzy thinking for, well, the first few days of the week. We will have to be careful of conflicts simply because our intentions may be misread. As we come into the weekend with the trine, with the moon and Saturn, and the sextiles with Jupiter, the following day with Uranus, it's about feeling better about ourselves, our self-confidence, and then finally communicating effectively. And with now Venus direct It's really about expressing our love and affection and sidestep because of that square off to Jupiter any conflicts and, as aforementioned, really state your case clearly and effectively, and you will sidestep all the fuzzy thinking and confusion. But look out for the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, yes, even Friday, because it's all about our charity. And if we can balance out that axis between the moon in Cancer and powerhouse Pluto, we could really help each other and give each other a great deal of confidence. So, until the next weekly celestial forecast, many blessings. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.